mito wa ichomaza. Naboga hera, atosi hera, naboga hera, wasipe wemaera, yiri masambe oira, yiri masambe oira, yiri masambe oira, o timia wole, timia chosi, mi wewe, yira mi wewe, mi wewe, yira mi wewe. Tiraba mana atiro, tiraba yira atiro ba yiro ana ibaru, sirama mito wa ichomaza. Tiroba mana atiro, tiroba yira atiro ba yiro ana ibaru, sirama mito wa ichomaza.
tukitembea pamoja, tutaenda kurefu, tukienda pamoja, njia haitakuwa ndefu. Dada yangu, wewe ni familia yangu. Dunia yote ndo ni familia yangu. Tira mamaga moshi ariogeda mamaga nyitane tena kiajahe moroaduto. Hey yo, hi, hi, hey yo. Tukitembea pamoja, tutaenda kurefu, tukienda pamoja, njia haitakuwa ndefu. Dada yangu, wewe ni familia yangu. Dunia yote ndo ni familia yangu. We're going to leave, we're going to journey. You're my sister, you're my family. This journey of immigration surely has been truly rough, but my dear friend, I'm so glad you're here with me. Cause 'cause 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 'cause
Nyama, nyama, nyama. Fem yi dogo, nyama le koro. Nyama te dogo la fen koro. Fem yi dogo, nyama le koro. Nyama te dogo la fen koro. Odolu baye kuni wolo, kuni kanja. Jata baye sanule wolo. Soliwo jume ko jali tigini jali tamaka ngara tigini ngara tamaka aye aye dembe iye kele ife dominade iafa kile ayebo ayebo musolu ayebo sunjata tamana mande musoni mande chebalu ayebo nare najata tamana.
Mãe preta, 60 anos de fé, dos quase destinados ao culto do candomblé. Mãe preta, 60 anos de fé, dos quase destinados ao culto do candomblé. De deu a goluna de deu a nago. Te deu uma goluna te deu a nago. Atusiera. Oh, naboda hera. Hey, wasife we mahera.
Cidade reluzente, cidade florescente, ele cidade reluzente, cidade florescente, cidade reluzente, cidade florescente, olha a cidade reluzente, florescente, olha a cidade reluzente, florescente, Zamina mina, waka waka, Zamina mina zambalewa, I love Africa.
Zamina mina, waka waka, zamina mina zangalewa.
Anawa
Ekibe zangalewa, ekibe zangalewa, ekibe zangalewa, ekibe zangalewa. Zamina mina, waka waka, zamina mina zangalewa. Anawa zamina mina, waka waka, zamina mina zambalewa. Anawa
Mwanawa,
Django, Django, Zamina Hina Zangarewa, Anawa,
all right, all right, all right. Okay. So, Women's History Month. We've made history. Thank you, sister. Join me here. Sis Danda, join me here. Sis Kanu. We've made history. Let's make sure. I'm out of breath, but not because I was dancing, because I was watching my amazing sisters just tear up the floor. We're going to spend about 10-15 minutes, and the purpose of this is to dig a little bit deeper into what it takes for women to find common ground, to find their passion, to put it together and share it with the world. I want to start by saying the Road to the Drum was a concept that is shared with all the 4 women here, that each of them wanted to share this story in a different platform, but somehow we were able to say, let's do this together and let's bring it on stage as a partnership collaboration. My name is Shikondongo Case. I'm the founder of Chizanami Foundation. Before we go into the questions, I'm going to give each artist here a chance to share who they are, give us a little bit of their background, and what you're passionate about as a woman, and how today has helped you to tell a story.
The question is directed to me. All right. My name is Manju Kone, and I am from Mali and Burkina Faso. Being a mom is a passionate job for me as a woman and as the society. Also, bringing the griot culture to help. What was your question again? Sorry, I've been dancing.
Who are you, Manju? Who are you?
Okay.
Where do you come from? You came from Mali, Burkina Faso?
Yeah, I already said that. And I'm a griot, I'm a dancer, I'm a singer, I'm a mom, first of all. I am also an author. I've wrote a couple of books, and singer-songwriter. So, did I cover the
No,
question?
that's incredible. Wait. Mom, singer-songwriter, author, an immigrant. who has found a way to combine what you do with other people. You found your road to this awesomeness over here. Okay, awesome woman number one tonight. Awesome woman number two, to my right, is Miss Danda. Who are you, and what are you hoping that you can share as a woman today with the audience tuned in?
Just to be clear, there's a confusion because I come from a Brazilian band, a local Brazilian band in Santa Cruz called Sambada. I'm absolutely emotional with this whole project, and I think, as I didn't lose my voice, I'm not sick or anything, but this project for me it means many things. First, I'm born and raised in Salvador, Bahia, Brazil. I'm a singer, I'm a dancer, I'm a choreographer. I am a person who has curiosity to learn many things. And I said I'm curious to learn to play drum, but I'm not consider myself a musician, but I love the power of drums and what the power of drum can cause in our lives. And I love that. But I love the idea of have the opportunity, as Chassanam have gave it to us, to have a voice heard and write our story and be told by us, not read it by somebody else, any other anthropologist or cultural anthropologist that has been writing books about many stories that they did never live in. So for me, the power of drums and be able to connect with my sisters that geographically we were born and raised in different country or continent, but we all come from the same source, we all come from the same tree. We are just branches that when we align ourselves as immigrants in the United States, we can see how much power and how much knowledge we can share and collaborate, and increasing and raise to the consciousness of other women to do the same. For me, the road of drum is this idea that we as a woman, we have power, we have strength, and we have so much things that we can do to change the world. And to, for the delicate of moving a body into the space, as soft we can also be strong. So we can break this idea that woman has to be soft. We break all the rules, and that's the beauty, and that's the power to be able to have found a foundation that allow us to be who truly each one of us are. Mm-hmm. So for me, Chassanami brings this element that is necessary to the world to give a voice to a woman, to give a voice to immigrants, to give a voice to African and African diaspora people to tell your own story. That's who I am. Tanda da Hora, born and raised in Salvador, Brazil, live in California since 2002, and I'm here to collaborate and definitely change the world.
Talk about owning a narrative. Okay, if you're at home, I hope you're doing this, because I was like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. Owning the narrative, owning our narrative, telling our story in our own voice. And what an incredible pleasure to be able to do it with some really incredible women who have not had the easiest of journeys. I mean, most of us who are immigrants know what it takes to come into a new country, to settle in, to learn the processes, but still somehow be able to contribute positively. Thank you. Miss Kanu.
How do I follow Danda? Like, how am I gonna go after
she said
Danda?
it all.
Like, I'm like, can I just use your bio? So my name is Kanukai Chigamba. I was born and raised in Zimbabwe. I've been in the Bay Area for 10, 11 years now. I love dancing. I am dance. I am music. I am everything my family has given me. I'm really happy to be here today because I've recently been processing how I am responsible for furthering what my ancestors started. Even my living ancestors, my dead ancestors, everybody. And I dance in different spaces. I am always grateful when I'm in spaces where I get to tap into my Zimbabwean traditional dances. Being on stage is like a bonus for me. For the most part, I love the process. For example, when we were rehearsing just women, it was really fun because we look at each other, we laugh, okay, that doesn't work, let's do something else. That process, that's the process that I really love when we know we're trying to do something together, so we bring all our energies and forces together and just be like, this is what we're gonna do. Another thing that I really love is it's not just dance. Learning about the culture and the history of what we're doing on stage. I know I'm always asking, Auntie Manju, what's that dance that you taught me? Right. What is the name? What does it mean? For me, I really love that because I don't want to just dance without knowing what is the representation of that dance. Why do we do that? Most of these dances that we're doing on stage, we're not even meant to be on stage. They're in ceremonies. So for me to then just come and put it on the stage, I feel like the least I can do is to learn behind what came before we put it on the stage. So I'm really grateful to be working with these lovely, amazing 3 women because they always educate me when I'm learning dances from Brazil, from Mali, Burkina Faso, from Kenya. Thank you.
Kanu.
That's a mascot.
I know. I like the way Kanu was saying, I'm not so sure about following, but incredible in your own. Just absolutely beautiful. And you raise a very good question that I'm going to ask next. But before I do, we've introduced 4 amazing ladies here. I gotta tell you, we did not do this together. I'm gonna plug in some shout outs, and I'd like to say thank you to Melanie, Papiba, Sambada Band, Annie, who was incredibly just blowing her lungs out on a saxophone off the screen. You didn't see her. Next time, Annie, you're not going to get away. But that incredible support that we have in the partnership with Sambada, we cannot tell you how amazing it is. When great organizations come together, you can go far and you can do much. So we're very thankful for that. Again, we women must walk alongside with our brothers, and we're so incredibly grateful for the artists that are our partners on Chezanami Foundation. And today I want to say thank you, Mr. Mohamed Bangura. Thank you, Mr. Ibungom, for being that strong basis for us. We are strong on our own, but we are stronger together. I want to thank you folks who are home. Our program today is not a funded program, so I would not be a nonprofit organizer if I didn't ask for money. So please take a moment and find @Chezanami on PayPal, on Square, on Cash App, all of them, Venmo, and please make a donation of any amount to support our work. We want to continue to bring you programming like this on a regular basis, and we cannot do this program without partnerships, but we also need to recognize that our partners, this is their work and this is their bread and butter so that we can compensate them for their efforts. Now, the road to the drum was about 4 women finding a common voice, the drums. But there was a journey to the drum. It's a road. So we took a journey and we journeyed through some very important stories. What I'd like to do is start from the top. We went with Kanu. Kanu said some many beautiful things. And because it is important to own our narrative, I would like for each of us to take a moment and talk about what you contributed to the piece today and what it means. So starting with Kanu.
Okay, so the piece that I did is called Mande. Mande is a traditional dance that we do when we're doing ceremonies for praying for rain, when it's when we're getting ready to planting season. So before you go and plant your seeds, you pray for them, you pray to your ancestors for guidance to make sure that you harvest a lot of things from what you're planting. And that doesn't just represent like actual seeds that I was using in a basket. It can be anything. It can be an idea that you're planting. It can be new knowledge that you're trying to gain. So in that process, you always pray to your ancestors, asking for guidance. The song that I sang is called Mondoro Zinonwa, which is our spirit mediums. They drink. We have a river in Zimbabwe called Save. So that's where we say that's where they go and drink water when they're thirsty. And we're praying for them to bring rain, to help us bring rain, but this is where they go and drink water. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then, do you want to go? Or we went to Mali. Please tell us.
Okay.
You mixed in everything. You did not leave it behind. You just brought it all to the table.
Okay. Well, talking is not my forte. I get shy. So anyway, I do my best. So the first song I played on the balafon is Naboda Hera. Naboda Hera is a song saying, a farewell song. May we meet again in good health and peace. And then I did the balafon. I also want to tell a little story about the balafon. The bala is a pentatonic wooden instrument, and in the past, women could not play the balafon. It's believed that every key that a woman play is a husband that you're gonna marry. And my grandfather was the, I know, I didn't tell you before I let you touch it. So my grandfather was the Michael Jackson of the bala. And yes, I know.
John, don't listen.
So anyway, he was the Michael Jackson of the bala in his time. And this particular bala was invented by my great ancestor. So since he was good, I loved the bala. And one day I started playing. I thought he was going to yell at me. But then he looked at me and he said, "That's my granddaughter. Yeah. That's my granddaughter." So right then, and my father also helped me, you know, he encouraged me. So I was one of the first women to touch this balafon. Talk about women power. Anyway, I'll leave it to you. Yeah.
It's beautiful to know.
Yeah.
I think the beauty of being collective, to be sharing culture, is that we have a lot of things in common, but it has many things that we don't know about each other that is so, it makes sense, you know? Things start falling in places. And it's so beautiful to see you singing, playing. Bala, are you kidding me? Thank you, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Grandpa, for allowing us to do so.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to say how lucky I feel to get the opportunity to have you share what you've been taught and to be a part of this. I'd never seen a bala before I came to the United States of America from Kenya. We do have xylophones, we have marimbas, but this is an instrument that I'd never seen before. And so to actually see it in person, maybe I had seen it perhaps, you know, in a video of sort by a musician from West Africa, but never in person. So to see it, to touch it, to feel it, to be a part of the process, we're all very fortunate. And I have to tell the audience something. So this team is a team of several local partners who all have taken the responsibility of promoting their individual cultures in a sound and organized way. And these incredible artists are going out to the schools and sharing the instrument, the dances, the stories, taking kids on a mental journey to somewhere where they may never have a chance to step into. So the fact that we're sitting here and sharing with you is not because this is our first time we're getting together. We've been doing this pretty regularly, but we want to expand our reach. But each and every one of them have an incredible story to tell, and we're so fortunate for Cheza Nami to be able to partner with them to bring their stories to our community. If you have never taken a dance class from any of the women sitting here, you're missing out. So please do check them out. Look up Manju Kone, look up Danda Daura, look up Kanukai Chigamba. What we're peeling is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot that these incredible women have to share. Danda, what was your story on the road to the drum?
So the story started with the Mãe Preta, which means, Mãe Preta means the black mama. And that word itself, it means so many things. Black mama in Brazil, especially Mãe Preta, which is a religious leader in the community, especially this one in particular, which is Mãe Hilda Gitolu, from the Bloco Afro Ilhaê, the organization that I come from, Brazil. Ilhaê, for those who don't know, Ele is a black organization led by black people in the Bairro da Liberdade, in the town of called Liberdade, to mean freedom. One of the most amount of black population in Brazil, in Bahia, in Salvador. Outside of Africa, outside the continent of Africa, Brazil has the large amount of black population. It is very important to say that. And the roots of that song is a mix of Yoruba tradition song that refers to a black mother, the mother saint, the leader of the religion of Candomblé in Brazil, but in all in general. And also salute for Dide Agolunae is a way that we salute, asking permission to our ancestor to start anything in our lives. Even as a ceremony, even as a party, or if the organization that go to play Carnaval in Salvador, Bahia, Brazil, that's the song that we sing first to ask permission to our ancestors to allow us to be able to do whatever we do, if a ceremony or a party, to be in peace. So when we sing to our ancestor, we are asking them to bless us, to allow us to continue to tell the story that was one day told to us. So, Dide Agolona, Dide Wanago, Ago Agolona. Please bless us, please allow us, guide us in the best way possible for us to represent to you and to maintain your legacy. That's what we're doing.
I don't know if you're feeling it, but I'm feeling it. I'm telling you.
And then the part of that is that we take the tradition respectfully and we blend with a different narrative and a modern word, which is the samba afro, which samba is a rhythm and also a dance style. We put the specific drum part of the Candomblé tradition for Yansan, for Orisha, which she represents the force in nature of wind. And when we do the dance for Yansan, the idea and the symbology behind is that we are causing wind. And the wind, it can allows you to change the energy around you, doing this transition of negativity to a positivity. And Oya means many things. Oya is also, in the mythology of the Orisha and Candomblé tradition, Oya is the Orisha that allows you, to guide you when you die in your passage. So we are also asking permission for her. When we play the drum on this snare, like that is totally for the instrument play for the ilu for Oya. So then we take this part of Oya, the ilu rhythm, we put into the samba afro. Then we mix so everything has an element that is connected, and nothing is just because we think it's cute, because it's sweet, because it looks pretty. Has always a story behind, and that's why it's so important for us that comes from the source, be able to tell and to really tell the narrative of a people and be able to tell the story in the best way possible, because I can get confused, I can get twisted in dance class. It can get twisted when someone that is not part of the source interpret it completely different what the meaning is supposed to be. So when I play for Ilu, when I dance for Ilu, I know who I'm carrying in my heart. I know who I'm bringing energetically, and I know what I'm sharing with, and for is what I'm sharing for. So for me, Ilu, Samba Afro, Candomblé tradition, Yoruba tradition is always one, is always connected. And that's why when we dance together, it's so easy to synchronize energetically in the movements. And the challenge, and also the beauty of being able to collaborate with those beautiful, powerful women and the gentleman there is that, thank you, God, music is universal, right? We can be able to still be individually bring your story, but collectively connecting the dots that was missing from one another. And that's when I say we come from the source, we come from the same tree, but we are different branches, and that's why it works so perfectly.
I love that. And that has been such an important part of how we do our work and promote our own cultures. It's very important that you can speak for yourself and that nobody else is speaking for you, but that you're able to speak in a language that can be heard by others. So you're individual, but like you said, together we are stronger. And I sang a song earlier in Swahili that was made special just for this piece. And it said, tukitembea pamoja, tutaenda kurefu. If we walk together, we're going to go far. Tukienda pamoja, njia haitakuwa ndefu. If we journey together, the journey will be short. And that, to me, is exactly what these women have done. They have shown the power of working together. Nobody was choreographed. They brought their own piece into this story. And it's really important when we work with our partner artists that we're not imposing on the story they have to tell. Because often when we do that, we can muffle what they have to say. Not everybody is confident. Not everybody speaks loudly. Some of us speak soft. Some of us are loud. Some of us are really brave. Some of us, a little bit more reserved. So giving everybody the opportunity to show up authentically, but to also be respectful. You said something very important that I'd like to touch on as teachers. You each teach locally. And I want you to talk about a subject that I think we're going to touch on just a little bit. We're not going to get into too much of a detail. But what is your biggest struggle as an African teaching artist in America that you would like to put out there to the community? Because a lot of the times people come into your classrooms and they're taking your classes, they may not get an opportunity to really, really know you. And I hope people are really tuning in and listening in, because these are our teachers. They're the ones who are coming and sharing their culture. I'd like to know, and we will touch the opposite side of it, but right now, what is the biggest struggle about being an African or diasporic teaching artist in America or in the Bay Area?
Yeah, for me, it's, having consistent students. And so at this time, I haven't been teaching much because of that. Yeah.
But we saw you dancing, boy. I'm gonna be taking some personal classes. Yes, you can take some personal classes. Please reach out to the artists and be consistent. It enables you to, one, learn the art form, but two, it also gives these teachers an opportunity to contribute while also making a living. That's very important, especially in these times. Thank you for sharing that, Manju. Ms. Danda, what's your biggest struggle?
I think in the beginning, my struggle was, not as now, but in the beginning, and I see many of my brothers and sisters, African brothers and sisters, and for the diaspora as well, teaching and have a small amount of students in class. And I see that has this cultural appropriation issue that has been for decades in this country and in many other countries, that people who has never even gone to the country but is teaching the class from the specific country, and the class is full of students. And I see it both sides. I see that people in the United States, they are really naive, and at the same time, they have a hard time to understand the importance to provide the way you will provide, with joy in class, learning ethnic dance from a particular culture, and from the teacher that is not a master or either a teacher from that country. But they have passion, which is okay with that. But it's very important for those who has the passion, but was not born and raised in that particular country, to give the voice and give the chance to those masters who does this for living. It's not just a hobby, it's a combination of that. It is a hobby, but it's also to maintain this legacy, living in this country as a job, to be able to teach what they learn the whole life. So I think the challenge for many teachers who I see still today struggling, unfortunately, is that idea, this misconception of the cultural appropriation, that people really teach, take the classes from somebody else without going to the country, and they start teaching the classes for years, and the class is full with 50 students, 40 students, while the teacher from that particular country is teaching has only 2 or 3 students. And we can say, oh, that's a taste, maybe because one of the things I hear really much is they say that, oh, that teacher is really hard. Any dance is hard when you never taught that class before. Anything you start doing for the first time is hard if you don't practice. Practice requires your time and dedication to learn. As you do, you eventually, of course, you get it. And the language it doesn't change over the year. It stays the same, and what changes the characteristics of the teacher to be inspired at the moment with the live music or no music, live music, to be great at the moment to move the movements. But basically the rules of the movements is the same as they are teaching. And it's very important for people to know that. One thing before I forget, this place where we are right now at the Flourishing Project has been one of the houses where I have been embraced many culture for many years. And Flourishing Project is one of those amazing organizations that have been sponsor this show today in particular. And many shows that we, Sambada and myself, we get involved. I want to give the shout out for the Flourishing Project that has been opened this house for many organizations to do work like this. And they believe in diversity. They believe in that together we can do much more. He believed that, Flourishing Project believed that we have to respect one another. And it's very crucial that we definitely give the voice for those who need to be heard. And I think that for me that's the most important. For now, I would say to keep in mind in perspective, if you keep saying to yourself that it's hard, which means I was going to be forever hard. But if you allow yourself to give a chance to learn or to take the class or challenge yourself to learn for those teachers you keep saying to yourself, in the first place, psychologically denying your ability to learn something and something new or with some new teacher, you'll never be able to do so.
So much to unpack. We are going to need to ask our community to connect with us, to get deeper in this conversation. I think it's very, very important. And I see an opportunity here to have a discussion a little bit deeper, especially on the cultural appropriation piece. I think I'm very curious about that, to see how we can partner together to find some solutions so that everybody gets what they want out of this process. I think we all agree that the cultures have a lot to give, but how do we do it responsibly? Kanu, do you have something you'd like to add?
Yeah, it's mostly kind of like feeding back on what she said. I think nowadays there's this thing where it's like everybody wants to be a teacher, everybody wants to be a choreographer, everybody wants to be up there, but nobody wants to take the time and the patience to actually learn. And I'm talking about this not just coming from a Zimbabwean traditional perspective, but in other dance spaces that I'm in, like the Afro-urban styles that I do. And in the process of all of us wanting to be a performer or a choreographer, I feel like we're losing it. We're really losing that basic dance where it's like, for me personally, I grew up in a family where we were dancing every day. Like, not to perform, we dance because maybe we don't have electricity. So how are we going to hang out? We're gonna dance and sing. I think people nowadays are just in a rush to get to the end without taking the time and the patience to actually learn the dance. And it's not just dance, like I said earlier, it's not just dance, not just in the studio. And also another thing, I think you kind of already talked about it, where it's like when the person from the country is teaching, where we come from, we don't do 1, 2, 3, 4, go. It's 100, let's go, we're going now. So when you get in the studio and you're in the diaspora, people do 5, 6, 7, 8, and you're like, pa, 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 pa. So they're gonna go to the, they then, in the process of, even though they're like, oh, I wanna take this class from this diasporan person or this person from America, not the person from the country, even though you're trying to do yourself a favor, you're killing that person. You're destroying that person's culture and how they learn. So that's one of the things that we just have to be really careful about, and culture is very sensitive.
Yeah.
And we just have to respect that.
Thank you,
Good no-
ladies.
Really quick, really quick. And I think when I say about cultural appropriation, just to have a basic idea of that, when I say that about dance class, basically, you take a group of people from the continent, you force and bring them all the way to the Americas, all over the world. We divide them, we explore them, we make them work for free for years, right? Then abolish come, they are liberated to be free. You have to establish yourself in a country that you never know anything about it. You're on the street, and then you have to do a way to find a way for living. And we have many manifestations to do that. So you start selling food. You start playing in the street. You start dancing in the street, playing capoeira in the street. And expecting from that, that's all you have left to sustain yourself and to have the basics. I'm not saying cover the house, rent, or anything. You're on the street already. You are being dragged by force from your continent to the Americas and all over the world to work in the free labor. Abolish come, you will throw in the sidewalk with no house, no food, no nothing. Out of a sudden, you as individual and the group of individual, black people, you're not worth anymore. And then you have to find a way to start working to do the living. So when I think about dance class, even though where we're coming from, we didn't learn that because that's who we are. We dance every day. When we were cooking, we were dancing. When in a shower, we were dancing. When we go fetch water, because we don't have water locally, we are dancing. When we were harvesting, we are dancing, we are singing. And that's who we are. We are not trying to imitate nobody. We are not trying to take advantage of nobody. But then when we come to America, we're already here. Years pass. And what we do for living, all we have left for living, is not the job that as an immigrant we have easily to do. We have to work hard. We have the language that is the first barrier for us. We have a hard time to be able to communicate, some of us. But we still manage. And then our only communication and a way of making living is play drum and teach a dance class. When I say cultural appropriation, I mean it. That's all we have left. Please don't take it from us.
Yeah, again, so much to unpack. And I think we're going to need to have just a specific session dedicated to these conversations because it's important to have them. And we likely have not been having them as a community. So I want to thank you, ladies, for raising. We have work to do, plenty work to do. But please, the reminder here is that there are incredible artists that are here locally who have a lot to offer. They're ready to partner with us. They're ready to partner with you. They're ready to share with you. Let's do it responsibly. And let's find a way to all exist in a way that is enriching for our communities. The Road to Drum has been brought to you by Chezanami Foundation. We're very thankful for the space support from the 418 project. Thank you to Sambada for your support with sound and technical needs. And then want to say thank you to our supporting musicians, Annie, Mohammed, and Ibu, for being here with us and painstakingly making sure we kept beat. We will see you again in about a month and a half where we bring you a special collective with many more of our incredible local artists. Have a great night.